So all of these cabinets are pretty much the same. You got the two side panels there wrapped up in this bubble wrap. You'll have the doors if you have cabinet doors. If you have all drawers, they'll wrap up the drawer faces. The drawer faces come pre-assembled with the fronts of the doors attached to the door faces. The dovetails on these things are super tight. Really well made stuff. The cabinets doors already have the hinges drilled out of them, and then your drawer face has holes in it, grooves in it, dados in it, spots for you to screw everything in. Really good fits on all the dados and everything. I mean, I've gone through and I've found very little manufacturing. I mean, it's clear that they ran these on a CNC machine because they're just that tight. There's your drawer backs. This is the one spot that can be a little bit tricky because it's one of the last things you put on the assembly, and you got to be careful. We'll talk about it later, but once you get the two sides glued and put in, you don't want to box yourself into where you can't adjust that door. I'm sorry, the two sides, so you can fit that on. But we'll talk about that later. But here's your other pieces. That's your toe kick. Here's your drawer bottom, 1/4 inch, good stuff. Just some top supports. I will point this out. So most of the ones that we got, the toe kicks were pre-painted. You can see these over here, they're all pre-painted, but that one, for some odd reason, wasn't pre-painted. Not a big deal because we're covering all that up. My wife's gonna repaint the cabinets, no big deal. But this one also came. Both sides of the toe kick are not, usually, one side would be painted like the other ones, but it's not that big a deal. But, I thought that they were gonna be all the same. But here we go, that's a drawer. What is that? That's probably gonna be the bottom. Yeah, that's the bottom, and then that's, I'm not really sure what that must be the top. Not really sure. This is just a 12-inch cabinet, but I'll figure that out in a second. Here's the other pieces of the drawers. You got your drawer back and your two drawer sides. And like I said, these things are well made, super tight, very, very well manufactured. I will say that it says to use a rubber mallet when attaching the dovetails to the sides and the back, but it doesn't really do it. You just need to do soft tapping with the metal hammer, because the mallet was like, they're just so tight. Just light taps on with a regular hammer is better than a mallet. And basically, you can download these assemblies.
This procedure will assist you with assembling the RTA. If any excess wood glue seeps out, how to secure the wood panels.
Shows you how
Place
to
a corner
put on
brace
these little
flush
corner
against.
braces.
The following steps will guide you through the
How to make
process to
that
assemble the
jig. That's
marking
just to
jig.
line up the screws.
To create the marking jig, using
Walks
1/2
you
inch
through
stick, place
making
2
that
cabinet
jig.
hinges into the back. Place 2. The door can attach the
That's
hinges
just a
to
little
the
idea
face
of
frame using 2.
how the assembly instructions are. Really well made. I mean, better than, flipping through pages, especially when you got different models all over the place. But we'll start. I was gonna do just all time lapse, but maybe I'll make one long video kind of going through all the details. You're gonna need to close these hinges up and then place them in. And like I said, everything's gonna be the same for when you're assembling larger cabinets. There's not going to be very much difference, but you can see that there's pilot holes already drilled into these, and I drilled all the pilot holes for our existing cabinets, and I didn't get them as well made as far as centering the pilot holes for the screws as they did, because obviously they're using CNC machines. But here we go. Real quick, I'm going to take my time making this video just to show you the little things. One of them is when you get these hinges, they come with a bag of screws, and you'll have shorties, and then you'll have a couple that are longer. So those longer ones are not for the hinges. Those longer ones are for attaching the hinges to the face frame. So don't just grab that bunch of screws and thinking that they all go to the same place. And one other thing is you'll see that the longer ones have a little bit more of a rounded dome-shaped head than the countersink ones that are flat. So the flat ones are the shorties that are for the hinges, and the longer ones, a little more of a rounded off head. Those are for that to attach it to the face frame. One quick thing to point out is pay attention to what direction you want the doors to open and close, and then consider that when you're assembling them, because in this instance, we're gonna put this one on the end and we want it to swing out this way. And it's real easy to get this mixed up, especially when you've done cabinet after cabinet after cabinet after cabinet. You start skipping through the process of watching the installation videos, and you'll mess things like that. One other thing that's easily messed is when you're doing these uppers. Notice that there's very little, it's like 1/8 of an inch of an overhang up there, but on the top, there's much more of an overhang. Well, we took the time to hang all these cabinets, and my wife was sitting down. She goes, babe, I think we hung this one upside down, which we did. So this one, the overhang was down below. The fix was not to take the thing down, but just to move. We had to drill them out and move the doors down and re-drill holes. So it wasn't that big of a deal, but don't make the mistake. One of those things where if we would have just kind of took our time through each step of the installation video, it'll remind us, which is what just happened here. I know exactly what to do, but if I just skipped over it, I could have mounted that cabinet door opening the wrong direction. These holes don't line up like super perfect every time, but you just want to make sure you're centered so you can have a little bit of adjustment when you go to fix your drawers. So wherever you put the screw, just make sure it's as centered in the hole as possible to give yourself some changes.
Attach the hinges to the face frame. Apply wood glue along the left and right sides of the face frame.
Yeah, don't over glue this part either. It'll get sort of messy and it's unnecessary. Just put a nice little bead of glue on there.
Place the left side cabinet panel into the groove on the face frame. Make sure the unfinished side of the cabinet panel is on the inside of the assembly.
So that's the top. This will be your toe kick on the bottom, so you know that this is going to be the left side. There is one other critical thing here when you're putting these together is make sure you're lined up right here at the top, and when you slide that bottom piece in, make sure it goes all the way to the bottom. And I'll zoom in on a little area right here where it's very important. If you don't if you don't get these all the way in, you'll have struggles getting it back on.
Yeah, you have to line up the seams.
Yeah. Real quick, this is the nail gun that we're using. We don't have a fancy battery powered ones, but it's Arrow P50T, and then they call for the 1/2 inch staples that we're loading up in it. And then throwing these little corner braces on. You just kind of put one in 3 places. So, key is I'm going to run along the face frame first and get it attached to the face frame. And before I attach it to the, so you're not blocking the camera there. But It's not attached to the sidewall yet, so now I need to make sure that this is flush.
Nice and level, yeah.
Yeah, nice and flush.
Come on,
You
mine's
don't,
a little
you need to
bit.
come down towards me, right?
No, mine's.
Is that not perfect
no,
now?
it's not.
It's not?
I need to come this way.
Oh, I need,
Right there.
I need to come this towards me, so this
Okay.
is a little bit of a less, so I'm gonna split the difference.
Okay.
So we both have. Right about there.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Let me feel it real quick. Yeah, so you're a little low actually. And I'm a little high. So yeah, that's about the best we can do.
Okay.
It'll fit in there.
Alright.
So for these, just come down. You want to make sure you're good, babe?
Yeah.
Fill in this thing. So now we're held in place. Make sure you don't make the mistake we made once before is don't attach this to this until this is flush, because then you'll get this dado line off. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So there's a couple places on this building these cabinets, if you're using this staple gun, where I can't get my staple gun at a 90-degree angle to hit that just perfectly like I did this side. So, and there's more spots than just this, even on the big cabinets, where you just can't get a good angle. So, I mean, I found no problem with just kind of coming at it at this angle and getting one staple on each side of that before I attach it to the sidewall. But just know you're not always going to be able to get it nice and at a 90. All right, so this was that spot. Once we slid in this bottom plate, you need to be right here level, like you see. If you notice that your bottom plate or top plate, for instance, when you're going to assemble this, if you notice, pay attention to this, that it's not above this cut. I had that problem and I went to go assemble the back and this was too high and my back wouldn't set. So I'm over here banging on it. I got glue drying. So it got to a little stressful moment. So just make sure that these plates are fully seated before, during the whole assembly process. All right, so this is another spot where I ran into trouble. So this is the left side of the cabinet, right? So I attached this top face frame on both sides, top and bottom. So this side is secure, but also all the way down on the bottom, I've also attached it, but just on that same left side. So my right side is free. The reason that's important is when we get to this next step and we put this back panel on, you're gonna need to be able to flex the back out a little bit. And in the past, I had attached both sides and that made it very difficult to get the back on. So we're gonna get the back panel on and then we'll flex it out, get it seated, it's glued, and then we'll staple everything together. All right, so here's attaching the back. Remember, this side is locked in, so we're gonna slide this side in first. Good. Okay, so that side's in, and then we'll pull this sidewall out, and then get this one. Another part of this instructions is it tells you to run staples on this thing, but we found that at this point right now, it's best just to go ahead and put these screws in to kind of squeeze this thing together. Being careful that right here, like you probably can't see it on the video, but there's a little bit of a gap. So if the screw doesn't close up the gap on its own, you need to back the screw out like that. It pressed it open, back your screw out, and then go back in with it, squeezing it together. That's better. And then I'll just do corner after, go from one corner to the next. All right, here's another lesson learned. I've made this mistake twice already. We just attached the back, but if I would have followed the instructions and gone a little slower, then it would have told me, attach these brackets, flip it over, attach these brackets first, and then flip it over and attach the back. So you're not, got your hands in like inside the cabinet trying to mount these two hinges, which the the drawer slides slide into these little tongues right here. So that's how you know the orientation of them. And there's pre-drilled holes. So you already know how to line them up. Just line them up in the center of the hole. Here's when that marking jig comes into place. You'll notice that on some of them, you'll need to set the marking jig up this way. It just depends on where your bottom panel is. On other ones, you'll need to mark the jig up this way. Just depends on what cabinet you're using, but they use this jig for just about everything.
Right here.
I got one. So that's it. You can see where it's lining up with the board. If you look through the dado, here I'll show you. If you come and you look through the dado, you'll see there's the board right there, and that marking jig is just to give you that line so you can screw it to it. All right, it's time to put the drawer slides in. They just mount up. They line up right with that. So those grooves right there, these grooves right here, they just slide right in there. And then you actually have some adjustment to line it up. And before I put it in here, you can see that this one has an L on it. That means it goes on the left side, and the other one has an R. So literally you see that hole right there? That hole lines up with one of these holes based on the size of your cabinet. All of mine are the first. So that just slides right into there, and then come zoom in on this side, baby. See how the hole's not quite lined up yet? You just press it forward till you're perfectly lined up on that hole, and then that countersink bit's gonna center that perfectly. This is another one of those spots where you can definitely overdo it on the glue, and then you just end up cleaning out a lot. So, you know, I just put a dab in there, not too much. But like I said, you end up just cleaning it all out when it squeezes together, because these dados are very tight, or not dados, dovetails. Make sure you get these drawer bottoms lined up, or you'll be mad at yourself, because this is getting glued together. So I'll show you here. Like I said, I used a mallet. See, ooh, that one was looser than the other ones, wasn't it, babe?
Yeah.
Most of them take a little bit more effort, probably because these are just a little smaller. Oh, look at that. That one just actually
Pops right in.
Yeah, that one just popped right in. These are very little. That's different. The other ones took a lot, well, you know, a little bit more effort, a little bit more tapping.
Pause it.
Yeah. And then the drawer bottom, you got a nice pretty side and the dull side. Put your pretty side inside the drawer, like so. Slide it in. Piece is the same. Let's see how easy this one slides in.
Nothing can be that easy.
No, right? I think so.
It is.
There's been a few that have been almost too tight. Had to hit it a little too hard, but most of them are perfect. Slide this one out. Get this out. Oh, look at that. That one's like,
Did it go right in?
I mean, I didn't even need a mallet for these.
That's good.
That's crazy.
Okay. New screws?
So that's it. We just go do some cleanup. No screws on this one. The last thing we'll do is we'll put some staples on, because you can hear the bottom panel's a little loose in there. So we're gonna put those hinges on for the drawer in just a second. Actually, let's do that first. Yeah, let's do that first. So these go here. You can't really mess these up because they only fit into a corner, kind of one way. So obviously that's not going to work because the clip is on the corner, so you know that doesn't go there, it goes on that side. Same thing with that one, it goes on that side. Now they call for 6 screws. There's 3 on each, but they only give you 4 screws, which 2 is good enough. One here on the 2 outside corners. It should be good enough. I will say that if any of their holes, their pre-drilled holes, are not perfectly positioned, it's for these hinges. They're a little bit off as far as like centering. So just don't over tighten them. Make sure your drill's set to kind of a light setting, and walk them in individually. See, that's not even on the edge. I probably gotta take that out. Look how far it is from the edge.
Yeah, you need to
See how
push
far
that
that
in.
is from the edge?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to there, if they messed anything up, it's the pre-drilling location of these holes.
Yeah, just make sure it's flush with
Yeah.
the bottom of the cabinet, the edges.
This is the worst I've seen. All the other ones weren't that bad, but this one really pulled it to the side pretty bad.
Maybe put the edge in first.
Yeah, put this side in
Yeah.
first because that one, it really wants to pull it. Yeah, I had to kind of make my own hole in this one.
Good?
So, yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
So these are the drawer releases, and then these are some adjustments. I haven't had to play with these yet, but I think they're just adjusting drawer height. So the slides don't even attach. They don't get screwed on to the drawer. Oh, before I do this, let me run my staples just to show you that it's kind of loud, a little loud. So we just run some staples at a 45-degree angle throughout the body of it, just to kind of hold it in place so it doesn't make that kind of loose sound. Now it's a little more solid. So these, you just set it on top. Come over here, baby. You see these little hooks? Those little tabs right there? There's already pre-drilled holes on the back. That's where those are going to live. So you just set it on top, grab the bottom of the drawer slide, and pull it until you hear it click. Hear that click? So that's pretty much it. I mean, and this is just a small version of all the other ones. Those are 2 drawers on top, cabinets on bottoms. The other ones that are a little bit more different are your ones where you choose to do all 3 drawers. They're obviously going to be a bunch heavier, and they're all drawers. So, 6 drawer slides on that one, or 6 on that one. And then your cabinet, that's the shelf. We haven't decided where we're going to put the shelf in. They come with clips, but that's it. So the rest are all just rinse and repeat. So we're going to move on and finish building the other 2 for this island.